welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, October 28th, 2022. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoy this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts, and you will find links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. You can also get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. The first item that I have to share with you all is the Void Shawl. This is a beautiful pattern by Melanie Berg that I knitted as a prayer shawl for my husband's aunt whose son passed away back in August. So I knit this as a prayer shawl for her. And I showed this off on the last episode as a finished item, but it had turned out way too huge for this woman because she's very petite, and this shawl turned out to be super, super long. Though it's not very deep, it was very, very long. And when I wore it, it hung down past my knees when I just wore it over my shoulders, as you would have seen in the last episode if you watched. So I wanted to modify this so that it would be much shorter. So I ended up ripping it back almost pretty much halfway. I ripped it back to, let me count the repeats so I can kind of show you where I ripped it back to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I ripped back to about right here in the shawl. So about halfway up the depth of the shawl, the height of the shawl, I ripped about half of it back. And what I did was I just did not do as many significant increases. Oh, actually you can see there's that little bump right there. That's where my increases changed. And I tried to block that out, but it's still there a little bit. I don't think it will be very noticeable once. I don't think that she'll really notice it. I mean, it's not like it's noticeable when you're wearing it, I don't think. But anyway, I changed the increases. So that's where I changed my increases. So the original pattern has you increasing 4 stitches on every single row, both right and wrong side, except for one row you only do a 2-stitch increase instead of 4 stitches. So that means that though you're not knitting a lot of depth to the shawl, you're knitting a ton of width to the shawl, and that was exactly the problem that I had. So when I ripped it back, then I just started doing a 2-stitch increase only on the right side row, and on the wrong side row I was not increasing at all. So that allowed me to continue with the pattern but not get as much width or length to the shawl. So it's turned out so much better in size for this lady. It will just fit her so much better. Yeah, you can kind of see there's a little blip right there in the side of the, you can kind of see where I changed the pattern because there's a bit of a little blip in the side of the shawl, but I really don't think it's noticeable. I knit this in Knit Picks Swish worsted weight yarn, which is 100% superwash merino wool in the Garnet Heather colorway. And I knit it on the recommended needles, which were US 4.5 millimeter needles. So I will go ahead and stand up so that you can get an idea of how it fits me. But again, I'm much taller than the recipient. I have no idea how tall she is, but probably pretty close to 5 foot, if maybe even a little shorter than 5 foot. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm 5'10", so I'm probably close to a foot taller than her, I would guess. Okay, so here you can kind of get an idea of how big it is when I'm just holding it. And when I wear it over my shoulders now, last time I recorded, as if you watched again, you would have seen that it went like all the way down to here on my leg nearly. So it's a lot shorter now, a lot more wearable, I think. And I think it's just going to be such a better size for this lady. I think the other size would have just been way too overwhelming for her frame. So, and this is still plenty long to wrap around like this so that she could wear it more as a scarf almost. Let's see if I can arrange this better. It's really such a pretty texture to this shawl. I really love how it turned out in the end. So there it is, wrapped around more like a bandana style. And I just really hope that she will enjoy this shawl. So as I said, this is a prayer shawl for her. So as I knit it, I prayed for her, and I knit 3 shawls, one for each of her daughters, as well as if you would have seen if you've watched before. And I picked a Bible verse for each one of those ladies and those projects as I knit them. And so the psalm that I picked for this as I knit this shawl was Psalm 34:18, which says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." So that's what I prayed for her as I knit this for her. And I just thought, she's the mom and she probably needed the most prayer. And so the fact that I had to rip this back and re-knit pretty much half of it again was because she needed the most prayer and the most thought. So I thought that was fitting that she got a little extra time put into her shawl. And I'm so pleased that I was able to fix it so that it was a more wearable size for her. And I hope that she likes it. I think she'll like this color because I've seen her wear colors deep red like this before. So I think that she will like it. I hope she does. And I hope that it is a good source of comfort for her as she wears it. So I am so excited that I have now finished all 3 shawls, and I can get these off in the mail to those ladies, and I sure hope that they enjoy them. 2 things that I meant to mention at the beginning of the episode are what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Summer Dawn cardigan, which is a design by Andrea Black. I knit this, I think, back in 2017. I used Hue Loco yarn in the colorway called I Can't Even. And it took 2 100-gram skeins. I had a little bit left over. Well, probably quite a bit, maybe 50 grams left over, almost, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but I did have some left over. Anyway, the main attraction of this garment is the back lace. You can see that, hopefully. And I really get a lot of wear out of this cardigan. It just seems to be so versatile to me. Even though the yarn has tons of color in it, it seems to be pretty much a neutral color to me. I mean, it matches my skin tone quite well. I just wear it a lot. And I think maybe I burned myself last week. Yeah, last week. I burned myself on a cookie sheet, so that's what that is. Sorry if that's gross. But it's looking a lot better than it was before. Anyway, I think that the 3/4 length, or really the half sleeves, they're not even 3/4 length, they're like half sleeves. Maybe that length is really nice too, because it's not too warm to wear this sweater. It's made out of fingering weight yarn. It was a 75-25 base, so 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. And yeah, I just get a lot of wear out of this cardigan. It's pretty cropped and it's nice to wear over dresses and things like that. So anyway, I really enjoy this cardigan, in case you are wondering what I'm wearing. And then the second thing, you'll maybe have noticed that I've added the items that I had wanted to add to this wall behind me finally. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but I think it needs one more piece right here in that area. So just to kind of review in case you haven't watched before, but the main big doily in the middle is called the Affinity doily, and it is by Kathryn A. White. Yeah, Kathryn A. White is the designer of that. It's originally designed to be knit or crocheted using crochet thread, but I used DK weight yarn and a larger hook and just made it a larger piece. I don't think I completed the entirety of the pattern either, because it was already large enough, and I think I stopped a little earlier than what the pattern said. Yeah, I wrote in here that I only worked through round 15. I'm not sure how many there were total. I don't have a note of that, but I think I stopped a little early. Anyway, and then I crocheted it onto a 19-inch ring that I ordered on Amazon. I actually just, when I hung these on the wall, when I rehung all this on the wall here, I took this piece off of the ring and I recrocheted it because it was getting a bit loose on the ring. And so maybe you can notice that the little tips are now sticking out past the ring, and they never used to. It used to be that I had attached the doily to the ring by those tips, and now I've gone into the stitches a little further down into the piece to stretch it out more because it was hanging a little bit loosely on the ring and I wanted to tighten it up. So I just took out the stitches that were attached to the hoop and re-crocheted it onto the hoop just using single crochet stitches and then attaching it as I crocheted around, if that makes sense. Then the other doily that is up here I made more recently, and that is called Leylight by Julia Hart. And I knit that one, or sorry, again, crocheted that one to pattern using Aunt Lydia's classic crochet thread in black. And I knit that in July this year. And I did the same idea. I attached it then to an 8-inch hoop that I again ordered off of Amazon. And I really love how that one turned out. I do have some more of those sized rings that I could use to maybe crochet another doily to put down in this area, but I don't really know if I want to do that. I don't know. I kind of want to find something maybe from a thrift shop or something. I'm not sure. I want to do something else that is circular with a black frame that's about the same size as this piece, so about 8 inches to fill in this space. Anyway, this piece right here I got at my neighbor's estate sale that he had for his grandmother's items. So I believe that she cross-stitched this piece probably many years ago. She's over 100 years old, and so I'm not sure when she made that. I'm not exactly certain if she made it, but it is handmade by someone and it's beautiful. And then this is a piece that I embroidered I'm not sure when, a long time ago, and I hadn't ever displayed it yet, but I got this black frame off of Amazon again, and it fits it really well, and I think it looks nice with this collection of pieces. So anyway, I'm happy to have those up on the wall. I wasn't sure if I loved it when I first put it up there, but I do think I like it. But again, I want to fill in this space right here. So any suggestions that you all have for what I should put in this space, I'll love to hear your ideas if you have any ideas or what you think would look best. I don't know. Or maybe I'd like to try a different craft, like I thought maybe a macrame piece or something that's maybe a simple weaving piece on a circular thing, or I don't know, maybe just a piece of artwork if it's circular would look cool. I'm not sure. We'll see. I have one more finished item that's not really a full finished item, but it is for now because I'm not really going to be making anything more with this at this time. But this is just a square that I crocheted using a tutorial that Emma of Potter and Bloom had put out recently. And I just thought that this square looked so awesome and I wanted to give it a try. So this is called the Vintage 2-Color Square. And again, it's by Potter and Bloom, the tutorial. And it was from, I think, a magazine that she had, a vintage magazine. And so she just works this square up in the tutorial and shows you how to make it. And I just thought it looked so cool. I haven't woven in these ends yet, but I just used 2 scrap yarns. I think in the tutorial she uses probably DK weight yarn, maybe? I'm not exactly sure, but I used worsted weight yarn and just some scraps. And I used an H 5mm hook. So mine probably turned out larger than Emma's, but she walks through the stitches with you and it's super fun to work up. The wonderful part about this square, the really cool part, is that last round with the 2 colored stitches. And Emma shows how to do that. She just drops the yarn in between each stitch and changes color. And I tried that for the first half, but as I was changing my colors, it was looking a bit sloppy. I'm going to show you on the back side. So you can see right here that my edge stitches, kind of where I was switching yarn, isn't very neat and tidy, and it was a little bit fiddly. So I started to hold my yarn as I do when I do color work, and I do that by holding two yarns in my left hand because I'm a continental knitter, so I hold my yarn in my left hand when I'm knitting color work. And so I just held it the same way. I kind of wrap one yarn around my index finger and one yarn around my middle finger, and that's how I tension my yarn when I'm doing color work. Anyway, I ended up holding my yarn in that same way, and then it was a lot easier to do the stitches. And then you can see on this side that the back side of my stitches looks a lot neater, I think, anyway. So that's just a tip if you try this out, and if you are used to doing color work, maybe you can try, I don't know if it would work if you, I know a lot of people when they're knitting color work, they hold yarn one in each hand, one color in each hand, but maybe if you hold your yarn as I do, it would be helpful for you to try out that way. If you try out this square, it was helpful for me, so I thought I would just mention it. But anyway, I absolutely love this square, and I think it would be super fun to make a project with this down the road sometime, but I don't have any plans in the near future to do that. But anyway, I just had to try this stitch pattern, and I love how it turned out. On to my works in progress. My first project is being held in this bag that I made myself. And in here is a cowl that I am making for my friend Tina. It is called the Float Neck Warmer by Woolly Hooligan Designs. Let me show you the cover photo. So that you can get an idea of what it looks like, because I am just at the beginning stages still of this project, really. I'm using 2 worsted weight yarns. This one is Malabrigo Rios in the Anniversario colorway, which is 100% superwash merino wool. And then this one is on a 100% non-superwash merino wool that I dyed myself. I called this colorway Fine Gold. So those are the 2 colors I'm using, and I'm using the recommended needles, which are US 7 4.5 millimeter needles again. And here is a progress keeper marking where I was last time I showed you. So I had really just started it last time. This beautiful progress keeper is made by my cousin Allie. So adorable with the little pumpkin face on there. And so that's where I was last time I recorded. So I have finished according to the pattern, I finished the collar, the neck part, and then it's supposed to increase now to go over the shoulder part. Tina, I want your feedback as you're watching this. I was planning on making this a little bit taller than what the pattern said because Tina wanted the cowl to come up past her mouth so that she can use it when she's bike riding. And I thought I was going to need to knit it a little bit longer than what the pattern called for, but I'm thinking that it actually might be tall enough. So Tina, this is how it's fitting. My voice is muffled, of course. But anyway, I think it will kind of sit like that. I think it will be tall enough. Let me know, Tina, if you think I should make it taller or not. So that's how it's looking now. I love how the colors are working up together, and then this pattern is reversible. So I think on the picture I showed you, they're actually showing the wrong side. And that's where it's called floats because the designer really utilizes the floats in the pattern to feature those colorwork floats as a design element. So anyway, here is the wrong side that they show as the right side on the photos, if that makes sense. But anyway, it's a reversible pattern, so it looks pretty on both sides. The Malabrigo yarn has been super fun to work with just because of all of the fun colors that are in that colorway. I'm just knitting it on a short circular needle, so it's super easy. I just work in the round, and it's been going really well. So I am just, I just want to see what Tina thinks as far as the length before I continue on either making it a little bit longer for her or just following the pattern as it's written. But I'm really enjoying this. It's such a fun pattern to work up. It's different than anything I've ever made before because you switch which side you hold the floats on. So far anyway, I haven't really read ahead. I never do with my patterns, but for this so far, it was a 5-row repeat, and for 4 of the 5 rows, you're switching, holding the Malabrigo yarn in the back for some of the stitches, and then holding the golden color yarn in the front for some of the stitches. Anyway, usually when you're doing color work, both yarns are held to the back of the work, and this one it's switching. So it's different than anything I've ever done before, but it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it. I also have 2 sock works in progress that I've worked on a tiny, tiny little bit. Well, I've put in the heels on both of those sock projects, but I'm not going to show them because it's just not enough progress to really show off. So I'm not going to show those today, but maybe I'll be getting to those soon and I'll show you when I have a little bit more progress. But anyway, my next work in progress is being held in this beautiful Tanny Casey project bag. I just love this project bag so much. These pins on here are from Nice and Knit, the ladies at Nice and Knit. And in here is a project that I'm making for myself that I'm just kind of making up the pattern. I really want I like a headband ear warmer to wear when I'm going for walks in the cooler weather. And so I just wanted to make up my own thing. So I did a crocheted provisional cast on using this waste yarn. So I will be, at the end, I will be ripping out this pink yarn. And let me get some details on what I did. So I cast on, I kind of had to do some trial and error, but I ended up casting on 56 stitches. And I'm using, I believe it's worsted weight, but I don't have a label for this mystery yarn. But I'm pretty sure it's a worsted weight. And I'm using US 5 3.75 millimeter needles, and I am just knitting 1 by 1 ribbing. So that's all I'm doing right now, is just 1 by 1 ribbing, and I'm planning on knitting it so that I can wear it to go around my ears like this, so it'll be double thick, nice and warm. I might put a twist in it at the end so that I can have kind of a twist either at the back of my neck, or I could wear the twist up at the front. That's my thoughts, but I'm not exactly sure, but I might like twist it before I join the ends together. But my idea is I'm just going to knit a long tube, and then I will Kitchener stitch these stitches to the end of my work to make a tube to fit around my head. Again, I don't know what this yarn is. I got it at a thrift store. I'm pretty sure it's wool or maybe a wool blend, but it's hard for me to tell, but it's just got a really wonderfully cozy feel to it, and it's in this neutral beigey color. But I've enjoyed working on this, although I haven't picked it up in a long time. I started it a while ago now, and I haven't picked it up in a couple of weeks. I've gotten distracted, but I really want this. I have made some headbands for myself in the past, but I don't end up wearing them because I don't really love the fit of them, and I wear my hair up in a bun like this a lot. And so it would be really handy to have a headband that I can put on when my hair is up in a bun and I need to go out in the cold weather. I mean, I have a few hats that I can fit over my big bun, but it looks a little odd. So I would rather have a headband that will keep me warm in the cold weather. So that's the goal of this project. It's not too interesting, but it's mindless. So anyway, I want to get this done so that I can actually wear it soon. I had said to myself that I wasn't going to start any new projects until I finished. Oh, I forgot a project. That's funny. I need to go get, where do I put that? I was working on it this morning and I bet I left it out at our table where we do schoolwork. So just a second. So anyway, in this project bag, this is the one that I left out by our dining room table. This is the sweater that I'm knitting for my son, which I'll show you in just a second. But anyway, I had said that I was not going to start any new projects until I had this sweater and Tina's cowl done. But I just had the urge to start some new projects. So I will show those to you next. But first, this is being held in another one of the project bags that I made myself. And I am going to be having a new shop update coming up November 1st, and I will show off those bags at the end of this episode if you're interested. But this is one of my largest bags, a new size that I've more recently started making, and I will have a lot of this large size going in that update. So this is my 12, soon to be 13-year-old son's sweater that I am knitting for him, and he is very, very anxious to have me get this done for him. If he sees me working on any other projects, he's like, Mom, why aren't you knitting my sweater? So now it's like it's at a super easy stage right now. I have no excuse not to work on it. There for a while I was doing like the raglan increases, and I said, oh, well, I have to really concentrate, so I can't do it if I'm teaching schoolwork or something like that. I can't work on it, but now I don't have that excuse because I am just knitting the body in the round. So anyway, this is the Knits for Everybody Sweaters pattern by Katy Banks. And it is a great pattern because it comes in a huge range of sizes from baby to large male sizes. And it also comes with instructions for knitting this sweater in fingering weight or worsted weight. I am using worsted weight. I'm using all Lion brand Heartland yarn. And I'm making it in 3 colors. The original pattern does not call for this sweater to be striped, but I had 2 skeins of this green color, which is called King's Canyon. These are all worsted weight, 100% acrylic yarns. I had 2 skeins of this dark gray, which is called Great Smoky Mountains, and 1 of this teal color called Glacier Bay. So that's why I'm striping it, because I just had these yarns and I wanted to use them up. Last time I recorded an episode, I was way up here. I had just joined in the round basically and only knit a few rounds. So I've made a ton of progress since I showed this off last. I have split for the sleeves and I've actually almost completed both sleeves. I've knit to the point where I want to add in the ribbing, but I have not added the ribbing in yet because I'm not sure what color I'll use for the ribbing. would like it if I can get the cuffs, the bottom hem, and the collar all to be in the same color, but I wanted to knit the sleeves and the entirety of the body before I figure out if I'm going to have enough of one color left over. So that's why I wanted to save all of the ribbing for last. So I completed the raglan increasing, and did I follow the pattern for that? No, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I am knitting the men's small size. I am using the recommended needles, which are US 5 3.75 millimeter needles. And yeah, I think I followed the pattern for the raglan increases and everything. I don't think I made any modifications to that. I did make some modifications to the sleeves. I have stitch markers in here marking where I did my decrease stitches. And I followed the pattern for the first 3 decrease rounds, which was supposed to be spread out quite a bit there. As you can see, these 3 are spread out. And then I started doing them twice as often after this point because I could tell that they were going to turn out way too long for my son if I continued to do the decrease is that far spread out. So instead, I think it's okay to say the original was every 16 rounds I was doing a decrease stitch, and so I just reduced that for the last 6 decreases. I did every 8 rounds instead. And anyway, so I'm to the point where I'm ready for the ribbing, but I just don't know what color I'll use. So I've just put those stitches on hold. And right now I am just knitting the body. So it's super easy, just in the round, plain stockinette. You can see my stripe pattern is a little variegated, I guess. I'm doing 20 rounds of both the green and the gray colors. And then for the teal, I'm breaking up. I'm doing only 10 rounds total, but I'm doing 7 rounds here and 3 rounds here, just to give it a little variation. So I think that stripe pattern is fun. And I'm happy with how it's turning out so far. I'm switching colors on the back seam. It's kind of like under the underarm of the left arm, basically. And I'm not doing anything special for changing my colors to make jogless stripes or anything. I just have tried many different techniques and never found that they were super effective, and I don't think it's very noticeable anyway, especially here under the arm. I think it'll be just fine. And then of course the sleeves change on the underarm as well. Like it'll change under here, so you won't be able to see those changes very easily either, so I think it will be just fine. Anyway, it's fitting him really nicely. It's got a lot of positive ease, which of course I wanted because he's still growing, and I would love it if this would fit him for a long time. So I'm going to make the sleeves, I have knitted the sleeves a little bit longer. They're going to be extra long on him, but of course I just want that. And that way he could wear like a collared shirt underneath it, and it would still be roomy enough. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's super easy and fun, and I think it's looking really nice. So I'm super happy with that. Oh, the Progress Keeper is from Million Dots. It's a little blueberry. Okay, so like I said, I wasn't going to start anything new until I had this done, but sometimes when I just get the urge to crochet sometimes, and I just want a fun, easy crochet project. Sometimes I just feel that I really need that, and that was the case. I just really needed a nice crochet project, and so I started two. The first one I am holding in this gray felted bag, and it is a project that I am knitting for a family friend named Eva. Hi Eva, if you're watching. She had picked up this brochure from Hobby Lobby and found, so it's a free pattern that you can get on Hobby Lobby, or you can get these little pamphlets at Hobby Lobby, and you can also find this pattern on their website, so I will link to that, of course, in the description box. But I am crocheting this Shell Done is the pattern. It doesn't have a designer's name, but I'm sure there was somebody who designed this pattern, but it's not listed on here or on their website that I could find anyway. Anyway, Eva asked if I would be willing to crochet this for her, and I said, of course I would be. So she and her family were over here a few weeks ago, and I showed her all of my stash, and she picked out from my stash the colors that she wanted, which I was more than happy to have her do that and use up some of my stash. So she decided to go with all acrylic yarn, just because she thought, I guess it would be more wearable and easy to wash and things like that. So the 3 colors that she picked out, the first one is another mystery yarn that I had picked up at a thrift store. Again, just another mystery beige colored yarn. It's in this huge, it's probably like a Karen pound or maybe Red Heart, I'm not sure. But I had picked that up at the thrift shop because it was only like $1 and some change, and it was, I couldn't pass that up for the price and the amount of yarn that was in that skein. So anyway, that's the color that she picked for her first color. And then the second color is some leftovers that I had from an Afghan that I knit earlier this year. It's Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn in the Sage Advice colorway. And again, these are worsted weight acrylic, 100% acrylic yarns. Those 2 colors are both, the stitches that are made with those 2 colors are either treble crochets or half double crochets, and you crochet through the front and the back loops to get this texture. Now I'm assuming, but it's not clear on the pattern, that this is the right side. But actually in the pattern picture, it looks like she's wearing it the other way. I don't know if you can tell, but it looks more so like she's wearing it with this side showing. But I would think that you would want that texture to show. But to me, it doesn't look like that texture is showing. But really, I suppose this is reversible as well. So I'm not really sure, but I think it's prettier to show this textured side on the outside. The other side is very smooth because of the way you're putting the stitches into the way you're working the stitches. So I don't know. Anyway, the hook I'm using for this project is again an H hook 5mm. The last color that she chose is Knit Picks Brava in the wine colorway. So that's the color that I'm going to be using for the bottom section, which uses some shell stitches, which are super fun to make. I love working them. So it's a 2-row repeat for the shell pattern, and it's very, very simple using double crochet stitches, all US terms. Anyway, it's really fun to work up those shell stitches, so I'm enjoying this project a lot. It's very easy and relaxing to work on this, and I'm loving how it's working up. I told Eva that it would be, as you can see, it just hangs over the shoulders. So you seam up you make 2 exact same panels, and then you just seam up the shoulder stitches and leave a neck hole. And I told Eva you could also put some buttons on the sides, and then you could button it closed if you wanted to as well. That would be super easy to do. So anyway, I'm having a lot of fun working on this project for her. We're going to be getting together, hopefully, with that family again in November, and I'm hoping to get this done in time so that I can gift it to Eva at that time. And then another crochet project that I started is another tutorial that Emma of Potter and Bloom put up on her channel recently. And it was just another one that I was just, oh, I just have to try this because it's so beautiful. It's called the Checkerboard Stitch. And she just shows it on a small square. But if you've watched before, you may know that I love making baby blankets. And I just really wanted to try this stitch pattern using or making it into a baby blanket. So that's what I've done. I've had all of these, as you can see, all of these pretty pink, purple, and teal colored scraps of yarn in my stash that I've been setting aside thinking I want to crochet a baby blanket using these colors someday. And so that's what I'm doing, and I'm having so much fun with it. It's such a fun pattern. So again, this is on Emma's YouTube channel as well. I will link to it. And in the original pattern, it calls for it's a 4-row repeat, the pattern is, and Emma suggested in her tutorial that it would look really good to work every second row in a new color, and so that's what I'm doing. So I started off, it's a multiple of 10 that you need in order to do this pattern. I started off with a total of 133 stitches. So you do a multiple of 10 plus 3 more stitches. It's not very wide, but I think it's a good baby blanket size. And I may go around the edge with a border at the end too, just to give it a little bit more width, but I'm not exactly sure. We'll see. I'm using all worsted weight acrylic yarn again, and again I'm using an H 5mm hook for this project as well. But I just think the stitch pattern is so beautiful. It's super fun to make, and I'm enjoying this project so much. It only takes me between 8 to 11, maybe 12 grams of yarn to do the color stripes. So I've been weighing my yarn to kind of see how many, because I have lots of little bits of this yarn that I'm trying to use up. So So I've been trying to weigh my yarn to make sure that I have enough to do each stripe and trying to spread out the colors, but it's just going to be a scrappy blanket. Now I think these are all of the colors that I will be using, and there's not any more colors going into it but these. So these colors will just be repeated, some more than others. There's a few that I will only have enough to make 2 stripes of. This light purple, I know I will only have enough to make 2 stripes of, and there's a few others as well. And then of course I have others that I'll be doing multiple stripes in. So I am really, really enjoying this project as well. It's such a fun pattern to work up, and I think it's looking really cool. So that is my last work in progress to share with you all. And yeah, I'm just really, really enjoying it. I'm not going to go through all of these yarns. They're just a bunch of scraps of worsted weight acrylic yarn, so I'm not going to go through all of them. And there's quite a few of them that I don't even have labels for, so I can't tell you anyway. But I love working on that project. I just have my project bags that I'm going to be putting in my shop. I have worked up 2 different fabrics in Christmas themed yarn or themed fabric. And I am planning on doing a shop update on Tuesday, November 1st at 10 a.m. Central Time. So if you are interested, I will go ahead and share the 2 different fabrics and the sizes that I'm going to have in my shop update. The first one I just love so much. It is this fabric. This is my large size. I will put down here the dimensions for you if you are interested in knowing how big this is. You've seen it in use, so you know I've got my son's sweater being held in a project bag this size, so it's big enough definitely to hold an adult sized sweater. And I just love the scenes on this fabric, so cute. And the sayings have a lot, there's a few different, Christmas carol words on this fabric that I just love. And the coordinating fabric is a solid black canvas duck cloth type material. This is just quilting canvas. And then the inside of all of the bags have this same fabric, which you probably aren't going to be able to see very well because it's a white on white fabric, but it has holly berry leaves on it. Maybe if I pull this shade, there, that's a little better. So you can kind of see that there's white on white holly berry leaves. There's a little thread in there. All of my bags have an interior pocket, and they all come with this clip on the inside with 6 closed stitch markers. So there is the large size, which I will have the most of for this update because the large size has been really popular in my last few updates, and so I wanted to make some more this time. Then I will have my medium size, which is just like the large one. Actually, it's the same width as the large size, it's just shorter. But otherwise, all the bags have the same features. And then I will have some of my smaller sized bags as well, which are really great for socks or maybe a hat project. Just maybe 1 or 2 skeins fit in this size really well. And then the other fabric that I will have is this fun print that has these pretty red barns on them and green and red pickups. I think that's a really fun fabric as well. And again, the black fabric is matching and the interior fabric is matching to the other fabric as well. And again, I'll have the most of the large size, and I'll have the medium and small sizes in this fabric as well. So again, that update will be on Tuesday, November 1st at 10 a.m. Central Time. If you are interested, I would appreciate you checking that out so much. Lastly, I have an amazing box that I received in the mail from an anonymous, well, I know who she is, but she asked me to remain anonymous, a viewer of this channel who has donated a ton of yarn for me to She said I could keep some of it, but then gift most of it to you all for the Make 9 2022 mail that I am hosting on Instagram this year. There will be more information about that make along in the description box below. If you're not interested, if you're not familiar with that make along, you can check out the description down below. But I just wanted to go through this big box of yarn to share with you all of the goodies that she sent over. So we have a hank of yarn from Legacy Fiber Arts. Oddly, this one does not have a colorway name put on the tag, but it's on their steel toes base, which is fingering weight 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this colorway is just so beautiful. As you can see, it's got gorgeous different colors in here that is just, they're just so beautiful. I'll try to go through these quickly because there's a lot. The next hank is from Yarnable by Hypnotic Yarn. And this one is called Pumpkin Patch. It's on a 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon base, again, fingering weight. I love this one so much. So gorgeous. Here is a sweet set from A Girl and Her Wool. It is from a July 2022 Mystery Yarn Club. And it's on a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. And it doesn't have a colorway name either that I can see anyway. But it's very beautiful. Also, I'm not sure about the weight. I'm assuming that this is a 50-gram hank right here, the orange colored one. And this is probably a 20-gram mini. Oh, that is labeled. This is 20 grams. But the bigger one, oh, maybe it's on this label. Oh, there we go. Oh, this is 80 grams. So it's 100 grams total. Beautiful. Another set that is gorgeous from Gypsy Soul Fibers. This is on a 75-25 base in the Beach Bum colorway. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I see. The main skein or hank is the 75-25, and then the 20-gram minis are on a different base, 85% superwash and 25 wool, and then 25% nylon. And I don't have deluxe high twist sock minis. It just says it doesn't have colorway names for the minis, but anyway, this will be a set that is absolutely gorgeous. So fun. She sent me 2 skeins of Knit Picks of Felici in the Summer Nights colorway, which is so beautiful. This is 75-25 as well. Another hank from A Girl and Her Wool. This one is called Plum and Plumber on an 80-20 base, fingering weight again. Those beautifully rich purple tones and specks are so gorgeous. Even some bright teal in there. So pretty. Another Yarnable by Hypnotic Yarn in the Avocado colorway. And again, this is on the 85-15 base. Beautiful green tones in there. Here is a hank from Dragon Horde Yarn. Gorgeous. My son saw this and said, "Oh, Mom, it looks like a dragon." Because I think he asked me, yeah, maybe you just saw the label, I don't know. Anyway, this is on a 75-25 base, and the colorway is called Persephone. Beautiful. Here is a hank from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. This is on a 100% superwash merino base, and the colorway is called York. That's stunning, isn't it? I like that one a lot. Maybe I'll keep that one. I don't know. It'd make a nice hat or something, wouldn't it? Beautiful. This one is from Expression Fiber Arts, and it is called Lovebirds. It's on the Resilient Superwash Merino sock base, but it doesn't give me the content of that base on the tag. Beautiful. I have this little mini, it's a 50-gram hank. I assume this is self-striping from Mint Rain Hand Dyed Yarns. And this is on her Tough Sock 75-25 base. And the colorway is called Christmas Bauble. Super cute. She sent me these cute little buttons that say handmade with love. So sweet. And then she sent me 3 hanks of yarn by Brooklyn Tweed on the Arbor base, which is 100% American Targhee wool. Worsted weight, I believe. Where is that stated? I'm not sure. Oh no, DK weight, I'm sorry. 145 yards to 50 grams, maybe? I don't see where it tells how many grams. Yeah, 50 grams. 3 different colorways. This one is called Humpback. It's like a deep gray. Crumb and Loam, Loam. So I will probably gift those as a set. Very, very pretty. And lastly, she sent me some cotton. First, a sugar and cream scrub off. So it has both regular cotton mixed in with some scrubby or like thread that or yarn that's has more of a texture to it. So it's great for scrubbing dishes. So this is a 75-gram cake of yarn, and it is 100% cotton. I thought maybe the scrubby part would be something else, but it just says 100% cotton. And the colorway is called Bowl Full of Jelly. That's fun. And then I got 3 cakes or skeins of the Knit Picks Dishy in the twist line. So this is worsted weight, the other one was too, and this is 100% cotton. And this colorway is called Begonia and Blue. And Kenai. So I'll probably gift those as a set as well, since they go well together. I'm not sure. We'll see. I haven't decided which ones I'm keeping yet or which ones I'm gifting or how I'm gifting them yet, but I just want to share them off with you. It was wonderful timing to receive that box, because the box of yarn that I received that I've been gifting throughout the year, I had received a big box of yarn from Lindsay of Always Yarn First, and I've been gifting a lot of the yarn that she had sent to me throughout the year, and I only have 2 sock sets left from what she sent to me, and I'm planning to keep one of those sock sets for myself and then gift the other one. And so it just came at the perfect time, because I was running low on things that I could gift for the Make 9 2022 Mal, and I'm pretty sure I'll continue doing that throughout the year 2023. You all can let me know your thoughts on that if you're interested in doing another Make 9 Mal in 2023. And if you watched, you know I haven't done well with my Make 9 boards at all this year, but it's still fun to host a make along, even if I'm not participating in it very well myself. But anyway, I'm so thankful that I was gifted this yarn to give away to all of you. It just helps out so much to have fun things to gift to you all. So thank you so much for donating this generous box of yarn and goodies to this channel. I appreciate it so very much. So that is all that I have to share with you all today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed watching this episode. If you did enjoy, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that so very much. I hope you all are doing really well. Take care. Bye-bye.